and set to burn. At last, the yearly Christmas race was in the clubhouse turn. The cards were in the mail, all the gifts beneath the tree, and 30 days reprieve until Visa could find me. And though smug satisfaction seemed the order of the day, something still was nagging and would not go away. A week before, I got a letter from my old great aunt. It read, "Of course, I'll understand completely if you can't. But if you find you have some time, how wonderful if we could have a little chat and share a cup of Christmas tea." She'd had a mild stroke earlier that year, which crippled her left side. Though housebound now, my folks had said it hadn't hurt her pride. They said, "She'd love to see you. What a nice thing it would be for you to go and maybe have a cup of Christmas tea." But boy, oh boy, I didn't want to go. Oh, what a bitter pill to see an old relation and how far she'd gone downhill. I remember her as a vigorous, as funny and bright. I remembered Christmas Eves when she regaled us half the night. I didn't want to risk all that. I didn't want the pain. I didn't need to be depressed. I didn't need the strain. And what about my brother? Why not him? She's his aunt too, you know. I thought I had it justified. But then, before I knew, the reason not to go, I so painstakingly had built, were crackling wide and crumbling in an acid rain of guilt. I put on my boots and my gloves and my cap, shame stinging every pore, and armed with a squeegee, sand, and map, I went out my front door. I drove in from the suburbs to the older part of town. The pastels of the newer homes gave way to gray and brown. I had that disembodied feeling as the car pulled up and stopped beside the wooden house that held the Christmas cup. How I got up to her door, I really couldn't tell. I watched my hand rise up and press the button of the bell. I waited, aided by my nervous rocking to and fro. And just as I was thinking I should turn around and go, I heard the rattle. I heard the rattle of the china in the hutch against the wall, the triple beat of 2 feet and a crutch coming down the hall, the clicking of the door latch, the sliding of the bolt, and a little swollen struggle popped it open with a jolt. She stood there, pale and thin, looking as fragile as an egg. I forced myself from staring at her brace that held her leg. And though her thick bifocals seemed to crack and spread her eyes, their milky refracted depths lit up with a young surprise. "Come in," She laughed the words. She took me by the hand, and all my fears dissolved away as if by her command. We went inside, and then before I knew how to react, before my eyes and ears and nose was Christmas past, alive, intact. The scent of candied oranges, of cinnamon and pine, the antique wooden soldiers in their military line. The porcelain nativity I'd always loved so much. The Dresden and the crystal I told I mustn't touch. My spirit fairly bolted like a child out of class and danced among the ornaments of calico and glass. Like magic, I was 6 again, deep in a Christmas spell, steeped in the million memories this girl inside knew so well. And here among the Christmas cards, so lovingly displayed, a special place of honor for the ones we kids made. And there, beside her rocking chair, the center of it all, my great aunt stood and said, how nice it was you'd come to call. I sat and rattled on about the weather and the flu. She listened very patiently and then smiled and said, what's new? Thoughts and words began to flow. I started making sense. I lost the phony breeziness I use when I get tense. She was still passionately interested in everything I did. She was positive, encouraging, like when I was a kid. Simple generalities still sent her into fits. She demanded the specifics, the particulars, the bits. We talked about the limitations that she had had to face. She spoke with utter candor, but with humor and good grace. Then, defying the reality of crutch and straightened knee, on wings of hospitality, she sprang up to brew the tea. I sat alone with feelings that I hadn't felt in years. I looked around at Christmas through a thick, hot blur of tears. And the candles and the holly she'd arranged on every shelf, the impossibly good cookies, still somehow bake themselves. But these rich tactile memories became quite pale and thin when measured by the Christmas my great aunt kept from deep within. Her body halved and nearly spent, but my great aunt was whole. I saw a Christmas miracle, the triumph of a soul.